Welcome to the other side of 40. My name is April Grant, and I'm here to help women make positive changes with their lives after the age of 40. Let the other side of 40 become your community to find inspiration and support to start the next chapter of your life. Welcome to the Other Side of 40 podcast. Oh my gosh, it's been a whirlwind week. In real time, we are on day 4 of the election. Never thought I would say anything like that. So hopefully by the time you listen to this, we will actually know who's president of the United States. We at this point in time have absolutely no idea. But I'm excited to have Alicia on. And I typically ask the name before I start, and I totally forgot. Please pronounce your first name for me. Your whole name.
Alicia.
Alicia.
Alicia Bozza.
Alicia Bozza. Okay. And the reason I do that, I actually ask most of my guests, I say most because I obviously forgot right now, because I want to make sure that people understand how to pronounce someone's name and don't go into it pronouncing it incorrectly, especially in our new world where people are being advised to pay more attention to pronunciations. You know, we have Kamala Harris, having pronunciations matter. Pronunciations matter. So Alicia is the president of Clearing for Life and partner, as well as mind and energy coach with SRT Global. She is a spiritually minded author, professional singer, and sound healer, currently residing. You know what? Hold on just one second. I might have to redo all of this. Can you hear my kids? Can you hear my kids?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, that poor girl. She must be like, oh my God, I hear it in the background.
Hello, and welcome to the other side of 40. I'm excited to be here. We are in day 4 of the election, which is something that I don't believe has ever happened, at least not in my lifetime or anytime in the recent past. And we don't know who the president is. So by the time you hear this, we will have a new president or a president. We will know who that president is. So I'm happy to break up watching the map on the screen and the commentators by talking to Alicia Bozza. If you are a fan and you're a follower, on my second episode, I talked to Kimberly Dixon, and I spoke with her right after I had a clearing with Alicia. So I invited her on, and she was happy to come on, so it was great. Alicia Bozza is the president of Clearing for Life and partner, as well as mind and energy coach with SRT Global. She is a spiritually minded author, professional singer, and sound healer, currently residing in New Jersey with her husband and 4 of their 7 kids. Some of Alicia's notable events include the wedding mass of a Yankee pitcher, guest singer at a national live stream award presentation, Blab 2016, 9/11 tribute memorials, and as a soloist for the New Jersey premiere of Carl Jenkins' The Peacemakers. Alicia recently accepted entry into the elite partnership at SRT Global, as well as earning her level 3 coaching certification as a subconscious release technique mind and energy clearing coach. Alicia is working on her second meditation CD to follow her first release, Fairy Dust Tones. Alicia has also authored her inspiring angel cards, The 72 Names of God, now available on Amazon. All glory to God. Oh, I love that introduction. Even though I stumbled over it, I promise I will get better at this. Reading and talking all at the same time. You stop doing it after you're a little kid. So you don't do it as often, but I'm going to really work on that. But now that I have done all of that, please tell us, what is your awakening moment?
So my awakening moment was right shortly after September 11th. I was driving back and forth from school and home, And every single time I would drive by this one road, I believe it was called Ketch Road, I would hear, "Tell my wife I love her." And I'm like, "What? Tell my wife I love her." It was the man who had just passed away in September 11th. He lived on that road. And every single time I would drive by, I would hear him call out to me and say, "Tell my wife I love her. Tell my wife I love her." And I've got goosebumps all over my legs just thinking about it. His name was Bill, and he had passed away, and he was in the upper I think it was the 92nd floor of the Twin Towers, and he perished that day. And I really didn't know her. It's in her children was in the same preschool. And so it was very strange, but that was an awakening moment for me because that's the day I realized that I can truly hear people who have passed over. Now, I know September 11th was such a tragedy, but there were a lot of good things that, and one of it was my deeper connection to God and my deeper connection to be able to hear. When I say deeper connection to God, I mean I was always sort of section that I was already in. I'm born and raised Catholic. I should try this again. Oh, it's just so good. So far, so good, right?
Okay, and we are back. So, we are back and we had some technical difficulties. So, we took a little break. So, we're going to start with you became closer to God after hearing about, hearing from basically someone who passed away. So,
Yes.
continue.
Okay, so September 11th happened, and I always spoke with angels. I always had this like conversation with angels like most of my life. And so to hear Bill's voice though, and I knew that he died and I was driving past his house, he kind of was like, "Oh my gosh, she can hear me. Hey, hey." I was like, "What?" And it was so weird, and I really didn't know her that well, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, like how am I going to talk to this woman? How am I going to tell her?" So I was selling Mary Kay at the time. So I thought it would be just much easier for me to sell Mary Kay by saying, "Hey, I'm going to donate a portion of my sales to, someone, the victims of 9/11." So I raised like $250, and I literally took my daughter's hand. She was 3, and I'm like, "Hold mommy's hand." I was afraid. So I walked up to I got the bravery, I was the courage to go up, and I went up to the door. But right before that, though, prior to that, I was a director with Mary Kay, and one of the things that we did was we gave roses to our new consultants. So I would always go and buy these beautiful, they looked exactly like roses. They were these beautiful flowers. And so I went to this place called Mars County Farms, got a bunch of them, and I got one red one just because, or two red ones, just because I don't know. I just kind of felt called or drawn to these two roses. So I put them behind my seat in the car, and I was driving towards Bill's house, and he said, "Tell my wife I love her." And I said, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Give her some roses?" I put my hand behind my back in a bag full. It must have been like 10 pink and maybe 2 red. I put my hand in the bag, and what do I pull out? The 2 red ones. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like if that doesn't give you goosebumps, then you
That's
don't get
amazing.
goosebumps. I drove up to the house, and they had a run. I know this is a really big house, like a mansion, kind of McMansion, beautiful. And I did 2 Adirondack chairs, and I put them on the Adirondack chairs, and I was just brave enough to do that. So I raised the money. I came back with my daughter. I knocked on the door. Her housekeeper answered, and I said, "Is Mrs. Matheson here?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, let me get her." And I think I knew her first name at the time, but it's eluding me right now. And so she comes to the door, and I give her the money, and she gives me a CD. It was like she was giving everybody a CD that he had made of him singing. And then our daughters went to go play, and I sat down in the kitchen, and I said, "I have something to tell you, and I really don't want you to think I'm crazy. But every single time I drive by your house, I hear your husband, and he tells me to tell you that he loves you." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, to ask him like why did he leave, and we were supposed to go to Europe." And it was very heartbreaking. But at that moment, I realized, "Oh my gosh, I have a gift here. I have a gift from God to be able to speak to, hear these people and comfort the living." because that's a real gift. I already had been doing that for years because I'm a funeral singer.
Okay.
So I love the idea of comforting people with the word of God through song and helping the one who is passed to go into heaven. There's one part of the mass where they do incense, and so
Hmm.
the incense kind of curls up into the sky, and I always kind of envision the soul of the person like just misting up into the heavens, and the angels coming, to will greet them. Now, one time I have a very intuitive girlfriend whose friend died, and she came to my mass, to his mass when I was singing, and she said she actually saw the angels there to greet him. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to see that. I envision it in my mind, but she said she actually could see the angels and
Wow.
welcoming her friends into the gates of heaven. So I just have goosebumps all over just thinking about it. It's my greatest joy. I know it's weird for people to go, like, oh, you love funerals. Yes, I do, because that's where I feel like I'm needed the most, and that's where I feel like I can be there to be the voice, the God proxy.
Yeah. I mean, that's good because I'm not particularly a fan of funeral homes because I feel like in some ways, they kind of take advantage of the people who are grieving.
They do sometimes.
So, my son passed away. I had an infant son who passed away, I guess, 12 years ago now.
Sorry.
And I remember us getting his funeral arrangements together. And I'm looking at the casket, and the casket they want to sell was like $1,300 or something. And I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
just for you.
only 6 feet long. Like,
And can I tell you? I want to let you know because I used to work at a a cemetery. You do not have to go with the first person you call. If you do not like what they say, just to let all your viewers know, you can shop. You have that right. You do not need to hand over the body of your family member to anybody that you don't want to. And if they don't give you, I'm so happy to say this, if they don't give you the prices, it is against the law. Make sure you shop around, call around, and ask them for prices. And if they say no, say, I know it's against the law. You have to give me the prices. Hand them over now.
well,
So
we actually, I mean, I guess this is another aside. We actually got our casket not from the funeral home. Where we
that you can
lived
do.
in California and Fontana, there was actually a casket builder that was like real close to us, and we got it for like I think $250.
Yes.
And it was a beautiful white casket, very intricate, but it was a quarter of the price.
You do not have to buy from the funeral home.
Yeah, and it was gorgeous, but it was just a very, awkward time because, it was the first death that was that close to me. And that's not true. So, but obviously it's the closest death, right?
Well,
It's
it's
the
closer than your own son.
Yeah, it's your it's your body. Um, but it was just, I mean, it was sudden, but it wasn't because we knew he was sick and we knew it was a very real possibility. The only children who had made it, he passed away from hypoplastic left heart syndrome, which
Mm,
basically means he was born with half a heart. Is the easiest
right.
way to explain it. And we knew that was an issue, and we knew his likelihood of survival was extremely low. The only people still living with that were all women. And
Wow.
the oldest person they knew on record that had it was only 18 at the time. So we already knew that it was a very slim chance of him making it.
I'm so sorry.
That said,
What
doesn't
was
hurt
his
any
name?
less. Alexander.
Okay.
And yeah, so it was just, when you're trying to grieve and then you got to do things like price shop. it's
Tell me about it.
it's not exactly what you
Tell
put
me
on your
about it.
plate. Like, that's not really what you want to do. The last thing you want to do is make decisions, and because you want to, and especially in my case, because he was so young, I wanted to like kind of spoil him, even though that sounds weird, because
No,
it's the only thing that it was literally the last thing I could do for him, right? And
exactly.
so it was like, I want to give him the best. And so I could imagine other people feeling very similar to that, where they would want to pour into this person, and then you have this person like trying to upsell them, right? You know, this casket and this casket
It's
and
like
this casket and this casket. Oh, but you got to get the thing of all caskets of, you know, the $30,000, and it's like,
Super Trooper Deluxe because you're the best mom if you get it. Yeah.
right. And it really is just a box being put into a ground that you're never going to see again. So it was just like, I'm very thankful for my husband because he was super level headed. Obviously, he knew as well that this was a possibility, and he had mentally and spiritually already prepared for it. So he saw the
Thank
price.
God.
He's like, no, we're not paying for it.
I love it. I
Nope,
love
I'll
it.
go shopping for
Yeah.
it. So he did all that footwork. Anyway,
So
so
good.
I
Yay,
am
husband.
I was excited to have you on for clearing. So we did a clearing. Can you explain the clearing process to?
Sure. What I do is called subconscious release technique, and I am thrilled to tell you about this, and I love it. And, you know, most of us don't even realize, but that our subconscious mind rules and takes over our lives, and it just it's like the operator of the bus until you tell it to take a back seat. And that's what the SRT clearing does. The SRT clearing takes the subconscious mind who thinks they're the best bus driver in the whole entire world and puts it in the back seat and allows your conscious mind to drive. And one of the things that I love is that to allow people to be aware, become aware that they're being driven by their subconscious mind, and introduce them to their bus, and they can get in it and they can sit down. And I don't know why this analogy is coming to me. I've never said this before, but we're going to go with it
Go
because
for it.
it makes sense.
Mhm.
Because it makes sense. And you drive, the subconscious mind is driving, and it's like imagine all the students in the back seat are your emotions.
Mm.
Okay. It drives anger, it drives disgust, it drives fear, it drives joy, it drives all those different things until you are able to take control. And I introduce you to your bus. I introduce you to the driver. We tell the driver to take a back seat. Now, the driver is very tricky. The driver will do anything to get back in that seat. So that's the thing with the subconscious release technique. You can't just do one session and be like, I'm cleared,
Right.
unless you've been working on yourself for a long, long time, and you've been actively doing things to clear subconscious mind. It's going to take a while because the subconscious mind always wants to be in that seat, always wants to be driving, because the subconscious mind believes that it's keeping you safe.
Mm.
The subconscious believes that it's going to die if you let it get out of that seat. But the truth is that you're not going to die. So when I do an SRT clearing, I am so excited because it allows my clients to be empowered to get in the seat and consciously drive their bus, and take that seat, that back seat. They're like, it's like they're sitting in the front. It's like they're sitting in that front seat, not the driver, the front seat, watching all this stuff happen. And they're like, well, why are you turning left? You're supposed to go right. No, 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 right, right,
Mm.
right, no, right. And they're driving left because
Yeah.
they believe that it's safe in the left. But your dream home and your life and your husband or your dream children or your dream job are to the right. But the subconscious mind is driving to the left. And it's almost like if it's going in a circle, on a big circle. And you're going to see when you figure out that the subconscious mind is driving you in a circle left and repeating the same patterns over and over and over, and the scenery is kind of changing because you're just driving in a big circle, like a big circle left, when everything is on the right.
Mm.
But your bus driver won't go that way. So what I allow you to do is take that subconscious driver, put him in the seat where you are, you sit in the front, and you drive. That's the difference. And so what I'll do is the first thing I do is I ask them, tell me what's going on in your life that's making you loopy, that's making you upset, that's spinning you out, or what is a goal that you really want that you have not been able to achieve. So it
Mm.
depends on what they want to do. And they get to pick one. And then I ask them, so talk to me about it. They'll be like, oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm stuck is the number one thing I hear people say. I'm stuck. And it is, they are stuck because their subconscious bus driver is driving to the left in a big circle. So they're stuck and they're seeing the same thing happens. Why does everybody to cheat? Why do all my boyfriends cheat on me? Or why do all my girlfriends cheat on me? Or how come I can't keep money in my pocket? Or it's all because of subconscious programs running in your mind from when you were little. So my approach is a two-pronged approach. It is, I call it the dandelion effect. Because if you didn't ever know, if you take a dandelion and pull it by its leaves and the flower, in about a week or so, the dang thing comes back. It is
Hmm.
one of the most resilient plants on the planet. As a matter of fact, in Nagasaki or Hiroshima, that was one of the first flowers to come back. And so in
Wow.
Japan, that is a beloved flower because it's so resilient. It's actually a healing plant. I know it's the pest of many lawns and suburban America, but in Japan it's beloved, but it comes back. So my whole point is if you pull it by the plant itself, not the root, it'll come back. So that is the plant is today. The root is yesterday. You need to pull that root out. But now you have a hole. So what are you going to do with it? So we fill it in with good things. So it's a three-part approach. So what's going on now? Where did it all begin? And what are we going to fill it in with?
Mm.
So if a person has a problem, let's say with money, and they say like, I just, I don't know, I'm struggling financially, they'll say. I'll say, okay, what's happening? I'm frustrated. Every time I find a job, I lose it, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll go into when they were younger. And then I'll say, well, what's the first time you remember about your parents talking to you about money? Oh, my dad would say, what do you think I am? The electric company, turn off those lights, or money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that. And so these are usually happen like before the age of 7, around 8, 9, 10, and it becomes the program, what you believe, what is. So if you believe money doesn't grow on trees, we can't afford that, you're just going to live your life over and over and over. Your subconscious mind's going to keep going in that we don't deserve it, we're not worth it, we're not enough, we're not the bank, and it's going to keep showing you that over and over until you take the driver out of that seat and put it in the back, and now you drive, and now you turn right, and you start making different decisions, and you start saying to yourself, I'm so happy, thankful, and grateful that now I drive the bus.
Right.
I'm so happy, thankful, and grateful that money is an illusion and abundance is everywhere. So that's the fill up, that we fill it up. Now that we've figured out what's going on today, take that away. We figure out what happened before, we take that away, and then we have the fill up. I'm so happy, thankful, and grateful. My life is never going to be the same from now on financially.
Wow. Okay. So I got actually a lot from that. One, I need to change the messaging that I talk to my children in. I'm not that strict about like lights and all that stuff, but there are a couple things that you said that I do use in the house.
Yeah,
Things like we can't afford that, but I try to make it clear that it's not unattainable. It's we have to work for it.
yeah,
So, it's we can't afford that today, but if we, work together, we come together, maybe we can come up with some solutions on how to afford it.
perfect.
Um, and also, but overall, I also brought myself back, to when I was a kid where we didn't have a lot. And my mom was a single mom and, she was working multiple jobs and trying to go to school. And, for a long time, things were super tight. And yeah, before I was 7 and, remembering,
Do you want to go get my paper? Hold on, I'll start writing.
but, just realizing how much of that has an impact because, in my head, in my conscious self, I believe that abundance is out there. But I also get stuck in that cycle, right?
You
I
can
have
believe it all you want, but
plenty
if it's
of
making you weak,
I have plenty of opportunities coming my way to take myself to the next level and then I just get stuck in the cycle of, kind of just going through the motion. and
yeah, I mean, you got to kind of understand like the subconscious mind has a million hats. So you might be okay. You might have moved the money bus driver, but then the love bus driver sits in the bus and tries to drive it. So you got to, it's almost like a continual removal where you're just like, okay, subconscious money bus driver, you're in the back. or you need to leave now, or you can put them in the back of the bus. And it just, and it could be, and then you have to go again, you've got to look at the relationship, the family bus driver, the God bus driver, the my relationship with my mom bus driver. I mean, it can go on and on and on and on. It's an endless, but it's not hopeless.
No.
It's not hopeless.
No,
It's not
I
hopeless.
there is something that we discuss in within some Black circles about the strength of entrepreneurship, and where there are some parents who insist, well, I won't even say Black, but uh, some parents in general insist that their children go to med school, or, you know, become a doctor or a lawyer. And basically, if they don't become a doctor or a lawyer, they're kind of nothing, or they're not given the respect because they don't become that. And how it becomes this lasting cycle of not being able to exceed in something else, because they have this person in the back of their head and their subconscious telling them that they're really supposed to be a doctor or lawyer, and they're just kind of doing this as a hobby on the side.
Mm.
And then sometimes that's subconscious or out loud. So I was part of a small business group, and one of the women literally said that she does not tell her mother about her successes because her mother will outrightly tell her that it's going to fail, and that's not the direction she's supposed to go, even though she is experiencing growth on a personal nature of her business. Her mother, if she knows that she brings it to her mother before she's quote unquote made it, her mother will tell her that it's silly and she needs to just get a real job.
She sabotages it, but it's her subconscious bus driver that's sabotaging her daughter, because consciously she's not saying, I'm gonna screw up my daughter right now. I'm gonna mess her up. I'm gonna pop her bubble. I'm gonna pop her bubble. I'm gonna burst her balloon. No, no. But and it's the thing, it's generational too. And that's the tricky thing is, and that's how deep this goes. And I don't want to disappoint anybody, but it's also ancestral.
Yeah.
And if you've got this ancestral belief, you may have to go through your ancestral line and fix that. And as part of like clearing for life, I have different machinations that I've come up with, thanks be to God, because he's been inspiring me. And that's why we have clearing for life, is because from SRT, I call it SRT on steroids, because it's just another level. What I do, my job as president of Clearing for Life, is to provide you with a toolbox that you can take with you for the rest of your life. You will know what to do. When I'm done with you, you will know, oh, that's triggering me. Got to clear it. Hold on. Okay. I'm so happy, thankful, and grateful that I can clear. I want to give you the tools you need to move you forward so that you can succeed at anything, because you know how to tip the scales. I want to give you that advantage.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm like, I need to break out of the personal funk, and especially here, because actually overall COVID's been pretty good to us.
Me too. I'm loving it.
I mean, emotionally, it's been extremely taxing. Having your family around all the time is.
It's been okay for me. I'm shocked. I really am. I tell my husband, don't go back to work. Just stay home. I
I
didn't
mean,
think so, but he's downstairs on the other side of the house and I'm over here, and it's
uh,
grand. And I love
yeah,
having him.
I think it'd be better. I think we'd be okay if we had a larger house, especially because of the education aspect, because we have 3 kids at home also learning, and,
So
you
do we.
know, we are just on top of each other.
Yeah, they're bigger though. Mine are 13, 15, and 17. So it's a little different, but it's been a struggle, like, who's using the internet? Why is my Wi-Fi out? Like that kind of stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So no, we have a 7 and an 8-year-old, so they are
Mm,
bouncing off the walls,
that's
um,
hard.
and they're trying to figure out how to sit down. And as we stopped earlier, that one was having a complete meltdown because she didn't want to do her work. And so it's just trying to navigate this. But what I have learned is I actually like my kids a lot more than I thought I did.
Yes, right? Well, you know what? I think there's this like when the pandemic first started and we didn't know what was going on, my family tends to be on the real religious side, so we started praying the rosary every day. And we're like every other day, maybe twice a week. We're not doing it as much. But we were just like, ugh. Like I remember when September 11th happened, our church, the church was full. Like everybody, it was standing room only in that church because people were like, oh my God, what is this? And they just ran to God. And I remember I picked up a hymnal and I said to the priest, because I'm a cantor, person who sings at the church, and I said, Father Bill, can I sing a song? And he goes, yeah. And so I whipped open the book. It was the perfect song. Didn't it just I literally opened it up and God was there. Opened up the book, sang the song. It was perfect. The song theme was perfect. The song's words were perfect. The song's length was perfect. When I finished singing the last song, the communion service was over. And it was so surreal. I was like, it just gave me like shivers all over my body. There was no accompaniment. It was just me singing. And it was just the most amazing. I think that's probably my most favorite time that I've ever sang and the most presence of God that I've ever felt in my life.
You know, let me let I would love for you to kind of tell us how you got here, because when you hear about, because we started out talking about how you talk to spirits or how you hear spirits talk to you. And a lot of Christians, especially, don't believe that we can. Some do, some don't. I believe that we can. I believe I've had my own experience several times on the good and the bad of spiritual uh,
Oh, I have that.
touching.
I'm not going to go into that here, but oh,
And when I try
yeah.
to explain it to some people, they're like, yeah, that was just in your head, that was this. I was like, no, 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 no. No, I saw it, I experienced it. I was in, just in a quick aside, I remember we were together. I can't remember exactly what we were doing at the time, but we were in a place that had no windows or doors. I mean, no windows. And we would open the door and the door would shut. Air wasn't on, nothing. And that's happened on 3 different occasions in my life. When I lived in one apartment, I remember, again, air is not on, windows are all closed, there's no draft. Bathroom door would shut, which the bathroom was like the farthest door away from a window, even if there was a window, and it would slam shut. And I would open it back up and it would slam shut again. And then my bedroom door would slam shut. And then one day I walked out into the hall and I saw a man hanging from the balcony with,
Goosebumps. Yeah.
yeah, with a noose around his neck. Well, not a noose, but
Where were you? Were you living by yourself at that time? Or were you with the
no,
house?
I lived with my cousin.
Mhm.
And we had moved into an apartment in Woodland Hills in California. And I walked out and I just looked. And all I did is, he was dead at that point. Like, not just spiritually dead, but he was hanging. So he wasn't like moving or anything.
Mhm.
But I had heard a thump before that. That's what brought me over to the wall. And and I just backed up, closed the door, laid down,
Like, oh God.
covered my head, and went back to, I was like, and it took me forever to get back to sleep, but I was just like, let me just hide over here in this corner. I didn't know what to do with it. So the next day I went to the office and I was like, has anyone passed away in our apartment before? And they're like, actually, the two people before, not the people before us, but the people before that, the son committed suicide. And I was
He's
like,
still there.
how, and I was just like, trying not to be leading. I was like, well, how did he die? They're like, he hung himself. And I was like, oh, that's great. And so
I saw him.
that's wonderful. I was like, and how do I get rid of this? And so we ended up inviting in a clear, my cousin actually found like a clearer or something and came in, and it was a mix of prayers and chants, and came in, and we didn't have any problems after that. But it was just, it's, you can't deny that I saw it.
No,
No one had told me. I didn't
no.
article that someone had died.
No, no.
And it was just like, okay, all right, I need to do something. So that was probably, and I've seen other things over my life, but that was the last like super clear, and that was probably the last time I was like really just alone. I
Yeah, and like I
mean,
I sing at funerals, so I always would now I'm singing in a chapel behind glass farther away from everybody. But
mhm,
when I was out in the open pre-COVID, I would always pray to be covered and energetically before I would come out and sing by myself when everybody had their eyes on me. When the beginning, when everybody's coming and their eyes are on the casket and it's all whatever, that's fine. I didn't, but when I literally would go from one end, we have a sacristy where the priest gets dressed that's behind the altar. So
mhm,
I would go behind the altar and I'd pray, and I would always envision a big, huge robe, cape, like kind of as an energetic, like a protection that went over me. And then I would go sing. Well, one time I forgot. And one time I was looking because the guy had died of a meth overdose. And one of his meth friends was in the pew. And I looked over and I was like, why is he here? Bad, not bad thought, but just a lower vibration thought. Like,
mhm,
look at that junkie. What is he doing here? Kind of a thing. Well, wouldn't you know, the dead guy, followed me home and was bothering my children. And they're like, Mom, I keep feeling somebody touching me, Mom. And we had to have somebody come in and do this ritual with candles and sage
mhm,
the house. And he left after that. But I walked into this lady's, she's like a psychic, and she goes, oh, you smell like death. I carried him with me, but he wasn't bothering me. He was bothering my children.
mhm.
So from that day forward, I never forgot to protect myself. And I always keep my vibration really high, because it's sometimes if you lower your vibration and think like low,
Yeah.
crappy things come home with you. So
Mhm.
it's part keeping your vibration high and part protecting yourself, putting that energetic ball of light from heaven over you. Or like you can do like me, just put a robe and a like a hood, and I would just always have that protection over me as I was exposing myself to a whole bunch of people who all had their eyeballs on me.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to take any of that energy. I wanted to make sure I was protected. And that's one of the things that you and your viewers can do to protect themselves if they feel like they want to start walking that energetic way. We were all born with our pineal gland. It's a real thing. You can look it up on the internet. It's like, several inches this way and several inches this way. It's in there. That is like our antenna to God. And so I always was intuitive. And when I was maybe, I don't know, 10 or 11, I was at my cousin's house and the boiler was broken. I said, wouldn't it be so funny if the boiler exploded? Boom! It exploded shortly after that, and my cousin was so freaked out, and we escaped. There was no problem. The house didn't burn down, but the boiler exploded. And so we were outside drinking hot chocolate at the next door neighbor's house because we couldn't stay in the house.
Right.
There were several things that happened like that. And then as I got older, I would just hear my angels and I knew they were present and I would talk with them. And I knew I had six. I don't know why. Um, and then I started singing in church, and I actually wanted to be a cantor, but the music director said, no, you don't read music. You can't be a cantor. And so I went to the choir, and that's where I met my husband. We got married really young. We were like 21 and 22. And then we started having babies. But so I always knew that I always had a good connection to God. I always had this ongoing conversation. And there were a couple of times where God would say to me, I would like you to have another child. And I'm like, all right, well, as long as you provide for me, no problem. And that's one of the reasons why I have 7 kids, is because I was asked and I agreed. But then I would always be like, well, Rachel, she's the only girl. She needs a sister, and blah 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 blah. So it was really good. So at the cemetery, uh, I had always been like intuitive, and I started developing my intuitive abilities about 5 years ago with Asaki Kai, who is an excellent teacher. And then I started getting into tuning forks, and I love my tuning forks. Tuning
Mhm.
forks are my favorite because it allows you to get and see, feel with the tuning fork vibration and hear where the energy's stuck. And so I use the tuning fork to guide me. And then I talk to the client about what's going on, and then we clear it. That's another thing that I do, another aspect. But back to the cemetery, this is where I found my angels. I made a deck of cards. These are the 72 names of God. This is today's angel, angel 16. It's Hekome, and it's the 16th name of God. These were founded by a rabbi who sequestered himself to a cave because he was running from the Romans. He was there for 12 years. He fasted, prayed, read the Torah, and one of the things that he did that God gave him was a combination of the Hebrew letters from Exodus chapter 14, verses 19 through 21, where Moses parted the Red Sea. So apparently, if you say these names, the 72 names of God, in a row, phonetically, it's supposed to have amazing powers. Now, I don't do it all the time. I've done it a couple times, but the angels are beautiful. They're on target. They're on time. I love them. They're so consistent, and they're one of my favorite things. So I had a coworker of mine said, "Do you know who your guardian angel is?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I got 6 of them. What are you talking about, lady?" No, 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 no. Do you know who your guardian angel is? And I'm like, I didn't know what she was talking about. So she brought me to the computer and she said, "Your angel is Hehea, the 12th name
Right.
of
Yeah.
God."
Here we go.
And then, yeah, there we are. And I was like, hell, what's that? And so then I started researching and I started looking, and I couldn't find one place that had all the angels, like all this a lot of information in one spot. So I started creating the cards. It took me 9 months. I even gained weight like I was pregnant. And I created these beautiful cards, and they're available through my publisher for $44, the whole set. They're double sided. There are 13 points of information on here, and I have Jesus on the cards. I wanted to make sure they were spiritual, holy cards, not anything dark, nothing sinister. So it says Yeshua in here, and that's the Ichthus, which is his sign. So every single card has the Jesus sign on it, and there's a Bible passage as well.
So I have a question.
They're, as religious as you're going to get in card.
Okay, so you said it's double-sided. What's the difference between side one and side two?
Okay, so I'll tell you. So this is the angel of the day, Hakome. So Hakome is the name of the angel, the number of the angel, what type of angel, the cherubim, what the angel is the angel of loyalty. And it's the guardian angel of those born between June 5th and 9th. So this is about the person who's born between June 5th and 9th. So
Hmm.
it says, your aura is full of peace. You are loyal, noble, and brave. A promise is sacred to you. You keep your word. Your family means the world to you. You are a lovable friend with a great heart. Love and hope rule your life. It is important to you that your home and your appearance look good. You pay close attention to every detail. And then the psalm is Psalm 88:2, which I usually will go get my Bible and read the psalm out loud. I do this every day on Facebook. And then the back is how you say the name, Hekome,
Okay.
so that you say it right. Just like you said today, it's important for you to pronounce the names correctly. Same thing for the angels. And then this angel rules over 5 days. It rules over, guess what? Today. It rules over January 17th, April 4th, June 15th, August 26th, and November 6th. So that's why this is the angel for today. So the next thing it says, what you meditate on. Meditate on the name of God, Hippolyta, to become a great leader and to feel unconditional love. So anybody can use that. So you can look up this beautiful angel and see that if you're having struggles as a leader, this is the angel that God created to help us become better leaders.
Hmm.
Okay. And then so it continues. God tasks Hakoma with liberating us from negative emotions. And that's so funny. These angels always back me up. Remember, I was talking to you about how my energy went to kind of negative and I took home that person?
Yeah.
Back up. They always, every time I talk, these are like my buddies. They always back me up. I did not read this beforehand, was not planned. I love that. That just shows me that they're like, we're here for you. Hey, I love that. Call on the 16th name of God when you feel lonely and unloved. She inspires leadership. She brings success to political as well as social organizations. Now, This is really cool because we need an angel that's going to help us with this right now, right?
Oh,
Political
yes.
organizations, right? They're always on time. They're always on time. They're always timely. They're always amazing. So Hakoma means the raising God, to raise your vibration. Again, another thing that I spoke about before, they always cover me. They always got my back. And they're beautiful, except for 5 days in March, the 15th to the 20th. And I don't know why. There's a ruling day angel for every day except those 5 days. So I haven't quite figured out why. I'm still looking for that information. But these angels come from Rabbi Bar. Let's see, Rabbi Shal. Oh, for heaven's sake, it's not going to come to me. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Those are the original author of these angels, but that was like 476 AD or something like that. It's a long time ago. Was the author of these beautiful cards. So yeah. So this is one of the ways that I use them is I will take your guardian angel and your ruling day angel, and I do a free angel like session where I tell you what your ruling day angel is and what your guardian angel is, and then I kind of like tell you a couple messages from them. And then if you want to extend the session, then you can pay some more money to do that. So I do lay them out, and I'm actually teaching a class how to use the cards. It's an hour-long class. It comes with a deck of cards, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to be offering it this month. So I just put everything together, and there's a website that it's called Your Angel Class. If you go to bit.ly/Your Angel Class, you'll be able to see it.
Nice. I mean, this is the thing. I've actually never heard of angels for the day, ruling angels, or having a specific guardian angel. Not to say I haven't heard of, obviously, the theory of
Yeah. Well,
guardian
tell me, what's your
angels.
birthday? I'll read yours.
April 21st.
Okay, hold on. It's in this. All right. And you know, they talk to me and God talks to me. So when I'm doing the cards, I'll literally be flipping through the cards and I'll hear, nope, nope, yep, that one. Nope, nope, yep, that one. Like, and so I just listen. I mean, it's so I just get this intuitive, like I can hear it. Yep, 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 no, no, yep, yep, that one. All right, you're done. Okay. And so I don't know. I just hear this is your guardian angel. Aha. I love aha.
Mhm.
Aha is awesome. I love
Oh,
aha. You want to know why?
why?
Because this is the angel of remembering. And so when
Oh,
you remember, you say, aha,
okay.
aha, right? So aha is angel number 7, a seraphim, the angel of patience, the guardian angel of those born between April 21st and 25th. You are spiritually grounded. You're a daydreamer with foresight. You are both book smart and street smart. You influence others. You are a superhero with the ability to take risks others would not. You are patient and need to seek the truth. You help others find their truth no matter how long it takes. Does it sound like you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Psalm 103:8 is your psalm. I can send you a picture of this later. So Aha'a. Aha'a rules over January 8th, March 26th, June 6th, August 17th, and October 28th. Meditate on the name of God Aha'a to know the truth. Aha! You know, if you need to solve a problem or you're in need of patience. So when you're feeling impatient with your children, call on Aha'a to help you because Aha'a's job is to help you be more patient. God tasks Aha with the power to know the truth. She helps us complete difficult tasks and discern the truth in any situation. Aha helps us to study and get our work done. But this is the beautiful thing. If your child has a test and needs to study, you call on Aha to be there with your child to help them to study. It's just a beautiful way to help them. She helps rectify mistakes made by the media. No comment. Call on her if you need computer help. So if you're stuck with the computer and you're like, computer, just call on Aha'a, the
Ah.
seventh name of God, to help you with computer help. And Aha'a means the patient God.
Well, you know what's interesting? You said, "Is it like you?" And I really all of those terms resonated with me, especially the truth part, because I
Mhm.
really do like getting to the truth, like in this whole
Me too.
political aspect.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
not about, for me, I'm not a registered Republican or Democrat. I have
Hmm.
voted Republican. I voted Democrat. I will continue to vote where I find the truth to be, actually,
Hmm.
more so. Um,
Yeah.
and where we can go forth. And I think that's really what frustrates me about what's going on today
I
is
just want to know the truth. Either
I,
way,
it's a lot
please.
of non-truths are being spread. And when you say the media, it's like I just had this whole conversation with my husband last night about how the media has contributed to it, and part of that is the 24-hour news cycle, because they have to talk about something for 24 hours.
They're
And
more concerned about getting it out than getting it right.
correct.
And
Well, they have
that's
to
the
they have to
problem.
say something, because they can't just say the
Right.
same thing, because people change the channel. So they
Yeah.
got to
You're
say
the
something.
21st of April, you said?
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is your ruling day, angel.
Okay. And who is that?
Yohewa. Yohewa is the 33rd name of God, of virtue, the angel of subordination. This is actually the guardian angel of those born between August 31st and September 4th. But if you look on your back,
Hmm.
you'll see it says April 21st. Okay,
Yes.
so this is your ruling day, angels. This angel rules over your birthday. The other one is the guardian angel of a bunch of people, but this is the one for your day. So a lot of times this is even more accurate. You are an architect of the works of God. You are well connected to others due to your understanding, sympathetic nature. You know the difference between reality and illusion. You bestow light on others always. You teach others to learn for themselves and how to make beneficial connections. You are a faithful friend. It is best to marry a spouse that provides a quiet home. I love that one.
Yes.
So Psalm 88:2 is your psalm. And then Yohewa. Yohewa rules over February 3rd, April 21st, July 2nd, September 12th, and November 23rd. Meditate on the name of God, Yohewa, to shine God's light on the negative forces within you. God tasks Yohewa with the gift of relieving tension. Her guidance allows you to avoid confrontations. She helps you to recognize what is best. Asking for her help, you can become conscious of your place in the cosmic order. Traitors and schemes are revealed under her influence. She encourages trustworthiness. Yohewa means the all knowing God. And I love this, especially with the whole thing we were just talking about, like people not doing the right thing, scheming, and that's
Yeah.
that's what I love. These angels are so on target. So that is your
Wow.
beautiful angel. And you've got your first one was yellow and your second one was green, which is solar plexus and heart chakra. So if I were to pull these cards and I were to do like a biofield tuning.
Uh, you're gonna have to repeat the last part, the biofield part.
Yeah, so if I were, I don't know why the sucker is right over there. So close to me. It's way too close. So if I were, because you had a yellow card
Hmm.
and a green card, to me, that's the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra. So if I were to do a biofield, like if I were to do a quick tuning for you, I would hone in on the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra
Okay,
because your angels are these
where's the
colors.
solar plexus chakra? Which one is that?
That's the one about yourself. That's like right in the middle, like underneath your heart chakra. It's like right in the center.
Okay.
So, like, are you having issues with your digestive system?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're talking to me now. Yeah, so I would do a tuning in this area because the heart and the stomach are very, very intertwined
Mhm.
because the stomach is another brain and the heart is, another like sensory place of feeling. So between those two different things is where the stomach lies, between the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra. So that's what, if I were in an appointment with you, I would hone in on those two things to kind of unblock those because they're calling to me. It's a knowing. And I think that what you have to understand is that you need to recognize the knowing and trust it and trust that it's
Mhm.
God guiding you to help the person. So,
All right.
yep.
Ooh, that was a lot of information. And a lot of, like, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about the angels, and I do have some belief in like astrology, and
Mhm.
um
It's just a guide path.
and
People, stop making it evil. It's unless you're worshiping astrology and looking at it like, oh my gosh, it's the No, just but know in the back of your
Yeah.
mind that right now it's Mercury retrograde, still in shadow, and so you may still feel some funky effects with the internet. Obviously, we've been having that problem. Just know it and just let it be like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde. I have to take things a little slower today. It's like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, all of the astrology talk, all of the horoscope talk, all of the, whether there's now 13 signs versus 12 signs, all of that. And I've never heard anyone talk about angels in the same respect. And I would say those cards that you pulled about, I guess, me, um, are probably way more on point than the other ones. Um, so I just find it interesting, and I love the fact that you said quiet home, because that was definitely something that I look for in a spouse, is quiet and peace. I don't like drama. I don't like noise. Which, having two little daughters who are very squealy and happy, and loud, um, it's a little bit different thing. But she's loud. I'm loud. I can be very loud. I'm
Mhm.
just a quiet individual. She is
Right.
not a quiet individual, and she's also loud. So
Well, that's what I say about the cards, though. God loved you so much that he made angels that are just like you so that you can relate to your guardian angel and your ruling day angel. And so they can be a part of, Aha and Hekome can be a part of your life.
yeah.
And you can have them by your side all the time to help you because God made them just like you because he loves you that much.
Wow. Okay. So we have been talking for a long time. So, um, is
I
there
do a lot of
anything?
things.
Can you give us how do we find you? Where do we find you?
You can go to gosh, there's so many different places. AliciaBozza.com, which is www.aliciabozza. It's just one of the easier places because I do have connections to the angels. I have an angel website. I have a SRT website. I've got a Clearing for Life website. I've got it's like there's so many different things.
So that's like
I
your hub. If they go there, they can
it's
find.
like yeah, you'll be able to fill out the contact form and reach me. Yes, you can definitely do that. I'm on Facebook. I'm a big Facebook person,
Yeah, that's what I was
really
gonna say.
big.
Where's your favorite place to be?
Big. Uh I'm always on Messenger. Always always on Messenger because it's my bread and butter. I work from Facebook. I do more Facebook work than I do for pleasure because it's a tool for me as a businesswoman. It's where I meet all my people. It's how I communicate with my people. But I do have email as well because I know that God forbid, like Facebook disappeared tomorrow, I need to have a way to reach people in another way. So, um, yeah, you can email me at aliciabaz@gmail.com. That's an easy way to get to me. I do prefer text or Facebook Messenger. I'm always on Facebook Messenger. You can always reach out to me, Alicia Bozza. And right now, I have just a blank face with glasses because that my daughter made that as my profile. So
Okay.
that's just look for the. It's really not creepy, but she did big glasses in my hair. That's
Oh, okay.
so yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I have free SRT sessions, half an hour sessions for free, and that's for srtforme.com
Okay.
with FOR, not the number four. So srtforme.com is where you can have a session. I'm on Calendly, so I'm all over the place. Go to my Facebook page.
Yeah, they'll find you. We'll make sure to include all your links. So
Yeah. YouTube too, if you want to hear me sing, I'm on YouTube. I do a little Periscope. Instagram, I'm not as consistent as I need to be, but I am on Insta. I'm on Facebook, Insta, a little bit of LinkedIn. Still haven't quite harnessed that spot. And then a baby bit on Periscope, but YouTube definitely. I have about 1,500 followers, subscribers right now on YouTube. Not bad.
not bad. All right.
Not bad.
Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for all of the information. I would love to find out more about all of that, because I would love to find out, like, my kids, angels, and all of that stuff. So I will be in contact with you. But thank you
Yay.
for joining
You're
us and
welcome.
sharing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of The Other Side of 40. You can find us at our site, theothersideof40.com, and on Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Other Side 40.